So here is my first gameplay for a while. I've been having a little break because I've been extremely laggy. Last few days, basically, I've had a permanent ping of at least 200, and I've just sorted it out. It turns out I did a trace route, and my my network connection was being redirected from UK to USA back to France, like taking a completely unnecessary trip. But sorted it out now, so it's all good. And this is my first game back for a while, and I'm playing a new build that I quite like of sword dagger. It's completely glass cannon, basically. Well, not completely. I mean, but you know, very low health. It's more about the sustained damage than the burst, obviously, with a sword. I'm not a big fan of the daggers anymore. I find that, obviously, dagger offhand is great. Dagger main hand, I find all the abilities a little bit cheesy now. Backstab is very cheesy. And it's one of those hit or miss things where if you don't actually get the crit, you're left in a pretty bad position. And I don't actually like the style of playing those builds where you go for a single burst, and then if you get it, you win, and if you miss it, you lose. I think it's a very unskilled way of playing. I certainly don't think that I am some sort of wonderful thief anyway, but I mean, I think that the sword is a bit more fun. Obviously, you can close the gaps, get the immobilizers down, and I use the shadow return. It's a really good cure, and also it's really good for, sort of splitting up the action, makes them unsure of what to do. You can see that the team I'm playing, there's a lot of glass cannons. This glass cannon Necro, he's taking damage. When I was hitting him then with the sword attack combo, the fact that you hit a group is super useful, because the tactical strike, as you saw there, I dazed the guy and then basically escaped. You can occasionally hit more than one person with that, and hitting a few people with big damage and AoE tactical strike, is super awesome. Got caught in some wells here. I got a few power Necros, and basically had to sort of oh shit my way out of here and hide behind the corner, whiling stealth. I'm not shown up as stealth at the moment, but I was actually stealth. I think it's just a rendering issue. But obviously, as you can see now, there's a huge zerg going on, so my best plan of action was just to hang back. I still do play condition builds, but the only thing I don't like is that I actually really love the short bow. I think the short bow is a brilliant weapon, especially in those situations. You can get some decent damage with it, but if you're a condition build, there's really no point in utilising the auto attack like that, because the damage is terrible. I feel that it's the same. Any builds that have any classes that have like a obvious crit plus crit chance build, like this build, which has obviously crit damage and crit chance are in the same tree, so it makes sense to go into both, and you end up going like 62% crit damage, and you're relying on crit damage basically, which means all of your attacks will do a lot. Some classes aren't really like that, but I find it does pigeonhole you a little bit. That being said, the sword is awesome. You can use this. I'm using the stealth tree as well, and you see there I use the tactical strike and then escape again. Having the shadow step, really awesome. Like, the only thing that I find I don't use a lot of is I don't use a lot of the dancing dagger, because the damage is terrible these days. Occasionally useful for the cripple, but generally I stick with the main combo. Flanking strike I do use on groups, or especially if you're in a situation where there's a lot of enemies packed together, because actually the second hit does a lot of damage. You see me a few times doing it, getting plus 4k. That being said, you really do get a lot with just the regular combo, and having that 1 second immobilize on the shadow strike, or whatever it's called, it proper useful. Basically, you just see me not much skill going on at what's happening at the moment, just bursting down each enemy as they come along. Well, I say burst, it's sustained damage as well. I do use mug, because I do like to have the cloak and dagger mug combo, and then into tactical strike would do a good 7.5k normally, and obviously the actual days, it's not flashy, the days, you don't see what you're doing, but Here, I mean, you can see how effective it is when he tries to heal and he just gets dazed again. You know, keeping someone with a sort of 40 to 50% daze uptime, you know, it really hinders counterplay. So for me, I've not had much chance to use this build in tournaments yet. I mean, I certainly will be, but I assume it will be just as effective as the pistols, and in a way, its use is more varied. You know, being able to go straight into a group and put some interrupts up, proper useful. Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm being a bit daring at the moment, basically ganking their whole team head on as they spawn. But you know, these necros are actually glass cannons and they go down so fast. Got a couple of blocks, but there we go. I think a thief starts hitting me here. I have to retreat and stealth myself because, you know, glass cannon, daggers, thief, they do a lot of damage, and I'm a glass cannon too. I see he pops the shadow refuge, so I try to basically attack that area, and I think I get the necro. He's got the blind, what's this one called? Blinding wall or some shit like that. The down skill where you, you know, basically it's the smoke powder thing, and you end up with a wall. So I basically shadow refuge the hell out of there. You can see I'm getting the shadow rejuvenation thing. Again, I wasn't. It didn't show me as stealth, but I was stealthed. Basically, I go around the side and try to burst them down a bit with the short bow. I come back into the fray, daze the guy. I tell you what, it's been great for me because their whole team seems very squishy, and even though I'm myself very squishy, the interrupts. You know, I got the thief on my ass again. Heartseeker spamming. It's always fun. That's the reason I don't play that anymore. It's just so cheesy. I just feel bad if that happens. I actually trying to regen here, but the out of combat wasn't happening, so I popped the shadow refuge. Went for the necro again, and as you can see, taking down the minions, it's just so good. The amount of damage I'm getting. There's a flanking strike there. It got everyone with the first strike, but the second strike is a little bit more directional, and it seemed to only hit one of the minions. But you know, it really does ruin these minion masters because they're on cooldown. If you can get rid of those pets without too much effort, you know, you've just ruined them. Anyway, that was the end of the game. It was my first game, so I did record it, and I think I got 20 kills, 0 deaths, decent score, especially for this level. I mean, I find that this is personally, I hate this level. You can see that not only am I just, you know, zerging around mostly, there's also not very good points to use the infiltrator's arrow, and yeah, I just find it a bit boring, and I don't like the underwater combat. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll be doing some more on this build, especially with other levels, and I hope you enjoy it. See you later.